generations. And now, the power of two restores the one.
We got a bidet. Hey everybody, and welcome back for another video. In today's video, we got some exciting news from MLB the Show. We got actually two realms of things to talk about. One, we get to talk about storylines a little bit, and two, we get to talk about Team Affinity a little bit. So I pulled up the storylines piece first. That's the part we actually get to have a visual aid. So we got three players revealed for storylines this year. We got James Bell, also known as Cool Papa, and we also got Wilbur Rogan, also known as Bullet Joe. And then, last but not least, we also found out about Norman Stearns, also known as Turkey. So, a couple things with this. One, it's really great that we get more and more of these storylines from the Negro Leagues. I think it is a really, really cool concept that they started with a couple years ago, and continuing it is great. I hope one day maybe we'll get all of them in one package deal. That would be really cool to see more of these players in the future. But one thing I would say is that I recognize that one of the players right here, Norman Stearns, is a player from Detroit. Now, not the Detroit Tigers, it's from the Detroit Stars, I believe. And so. My only hope with that is that that's not them counting as a Detroit player. I would like to have someone in addition to the storylines that's, kind of around the era that I watched. But nonetheless, it is cool to get more players in these storylines. So we will have those three players debuting with storylines. I didn't hear them mention if there's going to be more or if it's going to be dropped throughout the life of the game. I think I would prefer it be dropped throughout the life of the game, but who knows? We'll find out. And all of these players, I believe, started at a gold 80. They were all gold cards. I remember that. But I think it was 80 or 81, somewhere in there. So if you play through the storylines, you will be able to get these players pretty quickly. But probably what you hear more for is to learn about Team Affinity. And so we learned this year that Team Affinity is going to go back to the individual teams. It's no longer going to be divisions, it'll be individual teams. And there's some really good things that are going on here, and there's some that really make me wonder how it's going to work in the future just because they weren't super clear about it. But going along with each team has their own section. Each team will have, I believe, three players that you can unlock right away by playing the path. So each team will get a silver player, a gold player, and a diamond player. And the diamond player is going to be a diamond 85. I think they were showing the Yankees, and the Yankees player that they had was Babe Ruth. So, yes, they are dipping into some of the players that we have been using repeatedly a lot, but arguably so. Babe Ruth is a very popular player. Uh, Trying to see if we can get a picture of that new card. I do not see it. So there is going to be a new card series that they did show already in today's update, and that is the Jolt series. I didn't quite understand what exactly makes them Jolt, except for maybe because they're captains, because they give your team a jolt in their stats, maybe. So every team will have those three types of cards: the silver, the gold, and then the diamond 85 Jolt player card. Something that was interesting about this is the teams that have more. I don't remember if it was more cards in general throughout the game or just players that tend to be higher ratings. The improvements from the captains will be less, as opposed to the teams that don't have nearly as much, uh, high player stats on their team. Their captains will be giving a bit more. So, for instance, with Babe Ruth being on the Yankees, the buffs from uh, Babe Ruth are going to be much smaller than the buffs that we get from Frank Thomas for the Chicago White Sox, because there's a stark difference between the Yankees and the White Sox. So I think that's kind of their way of trying to leveling things out a little bit. Um, they did show it on screen between the Yankees and the Nationals, between their two players. Um, but I think it's kind of a cool, interesting idea that'll be floating around there. I am curious. They showed an abundance of teams. So if you're curious about, if your team was shown, I would recommend, flipping through and, skipping to the part where they're showing the different teams. See if yours is available. They did not show mine, so that was kind of disappointing. There is no Tigers love on that crew. So did not see the Tigers. I'm hopeful that we get some really cool things there. I will say though, there was one revelation that I thought was really cool. So, as far as relating to the Tigers, they show the Texas Rangers team, and I believe the silver was Beltre, Adrian Beltre, but the 85 diamond was Ian Kinsler. And so former Tiger, so having that diamond on my team is probably going to make the cut. Um, Also, the Tigers team this year is arguably a lot better than they have been. So I might be using more of them. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to not only unlocking just the Tigers players in general, but the ones that are on other teams that were representative of the Tigers too. So yeah, every team is going to have that. Every team is going to have a bunch of missions and moments that you can complete to go along that team affinity path. One thing I thought was interesting is that the team affinity path, it has like a set amount of stuff, and then there's like this massive jump to another reward. And that reward is being a number one fan of the team. It's like a million or team affinity points. So you're gonna have to do a lot of work to get there. A lot of the missions I thought were kind of cool and representative of the teams. So, for instance, some of them were focused on how well players have done during a season. So, for instance, Aaron Judge, hit 62 home runs. So, as soon as you hit 62 home runs with the Yankees, then you get some bonus points. Um, there's also ones that are even longer than that. There are some that will definitely take a long time to complete. Um, Unless you are like 100% playing that team all the time and grind and grind and grind, um, you probably won't get towards the end of a lot of these team affinities with that number one fan thing until probably a bit later in the game's life cycle, is my guess. The one thing that I do wonder about it, because like I said, there's a big jump between uh, the rewards that ends and the reward, like the end of the path, and then the next thing being that number one fan. There's quite a gap there, and it makes me wonder: is that where they're gonna fill in more content down the line, or are they gonna put content after the 1 million? My guess is that they're gonna do it in between, but I don't know. So I am curious to see how that ends up playing out as well. One other cool thing that I remember that they had on the Team Affinity track is there are things to start unlock, like basically saving up rewards towards the All-Star stuff that'll be happening much later in the year. And they were prefacing, don't worry if you don't get that right away. It'll take time. We got a lot of time until the All-Star game. So, as you're accumulating these like special cards that are redemption pieces towards All-Star content, don't worry too much about getting those right away. Me, I'm probably gonna be obsessive. I'm gonna try to get the all the Tiger stuff done, be the number one fan, all that great stuff, and then hopefully get some other cool things from other teams along the way. I am excited because they did show, it's gonna be a power creep. A lot of these players are, bronze, silver, gold, low diamonds to unlock. And so I think it'll be a very, very different experience for myself playing this, considering that I kind of got in the mix when it was diamonds galore, and that arguably kind of ruined the game. So I'm looking forward to all of that. Um, Trying to think if there's really anything else that was super important. Of course, tomorrow we got the Legends trailer, so I look forward to that. They talked a little bit about the choice packs that you get from pre-ordering the Digital Deluxe Edition. We've already talked about that on this channel. They've already really shown what they talked about today before. There's 4 players for one pack already revealed and 4 players for the other one. And then there's one mystery one, and the mystery one will be revealed most likely tomorrow because the mystery one is a Legends player that hasn't been revealed yet. So I very much look forward to the reveals tomorrow. We'll probably have a video come out later in the night tomorrow because we are very busy to talk about some of those legends. So stick around here. If you enjoyed this type of video and you want to follow us throughout the lifespan of MLB The Show, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Drops a like if you liked the video and drops a comment letting us know your thoughts on the reveals today with Team Affinity and Storylines. And then, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.